discussing about the AI Center that has been recently been introduced by UiPath. And then we would be going towards a demo. And in last, I would be actually taking your question answers. We can actually have a live session between you guys if you are having any questions or any queries on these type of concepts or anything on that. So let's get started. Moving on. So what is an RPA? In simple and easy language, the definition is that any software tool that partially or often completely automate those human activities which are manual, rule-based, and repetitive can be termed as robotics process automation. What this essentially means is those repetitive mundane steps that human actually tries to do in his daily day-to-day life, those things can be automated if they are if it doesn't actually require any human judgment or intelligence. We can actually automate that as per if means inside the RPA domain. Now moving on to why RPA with human in loop. So basically the question arises now, why do we actually need a human inside an RPA? So the automation that currently is being done is with logics only. If it's having a set of logics, we can actually do that. But what happens if some human judgment or we need some approval from a client or anything before we move on to the next steps of the automation? And we need to actually make the whole steps and all the scenarios covered. So for that, we actually introduce a human decision bot. Allowing means by doing this, we can actually allow the bot to take a decision flow on the basis of the human input. So the human is over there while the RPA is getting executed. And while the human actually executes his steps or makes a decision, the bot can actually iterate on that basis. And these type of processes can be named as hybrid automation solutions. So moving on to the third thing, why RPA with IPA? Now, IPA, as you all know, is artificial means it can be termed as intelligent process automation. Now, if we actually apply artificial intelligence to automation, then we can remove the human dependencies. Now, I know that human cannot be actually be removed from the whole scenarios, but we can actually try the bot or teach the bot and allow him to make some predictions on the basis of some machine learning protocols, and the bot can actually mimic human intelligence with proper data and make process automation end to end. So we can actually make the bot a bit more intelligent and allow him to actually make some intelligent decisions on these bases. Now, let's move towards the popular services of IPA that can be integrated with the RPA. So we have multiple means there are a lot of things available outside which allow IPA to be integrated with RPA.
Yours, your voice is not audible.
Yeah, hi Shubham. We lost your voice. I guess your mic went on mute.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I don't know. Where did you lose me? Means was it in the last slide or this one?
We
The
lost you
current.
just 15, 20 seconds ago. We were on the same slide, I believe.
Okay, okay. So the popular services of RPA that can be used with the IPA is basically the following few of them, which are being actually be well adheres and quite popular inside the market. So I'll just talk about and name them a few. Name them. So we have AWS Cognitive Services. This is launched by Amazon. Then we have Azure Cognitive Services. This is by Microsoft. And then we can talk about, just one sec. Okay, yeah. So we also are having an IPA from Google AI, which can be named as Google Cognitive Services. And then we have Python. In this, we can actually create some custom built models as per the user interface. But this one will actually need some Python developer to allow you to create some custom built model. Then we have in latest introduction by the UiPath, which is named as AI Center. We have a lot of pre-built models inside this. We can use them, or we can also integrate some Python models to allow our custom built models inside this whole automation. So the IPA concept can be actually been integrated on these all these platforms using any of these RPA or IP technologies. So moving on to the next slide is what is an AI center? In this, so now going means forward, we would be talking only about the UiPath integration with the artificial intelligence, that is the IPA. So AI Center has been latest means this service has actually been recently been introduced by UiPath.
You went on mute again, Shubham.
Is someone muting me, Monish? I'm not sure. Basically, I'm not doing it from my end.
Yeah, so I'm not aware of that, but I'll just keep an eye. The moment you're muted, I'll unmute you.
Okay, okay. Thanks a lot. Okay. So AI Center is basically one of the latest technologies that has been introduced by UiPath. I'm just repeating myself just in case if you have missed it. So this technology actually allows the user to integrate the UiPath means the machine learning models inside the UiPath by integrating and allowing the you to use them as an AI center. Over here, you can retrain the model, you can train the model, it will give you a prediction score and everything, something similar to some NLP engines that can be used inside this. They also are providing a few custom built models, which we would be actually going in means I would be actually showing them to you in future means in the further webinar. So you can actually have a good grasp of what are the features available by UiPath, which are custom built already from the UiPath itself. And a lot of models can be retrained for your own use, and they can be actually used as an accuracy model for the whole process that needs to be automated. Now moving on, so I'm really sorry. Okay, so existing and AI powered processes, we would be actually talking about these all things. So currently, if you're not using AI, what are the processes that you automate? These all things actually cover something similar to scrap data, capture data, log into applications, extract structured data, fill forms, email events, copy and paste, moving files, and do some basic steps inside a web-based or maybe an application. Now, what actually happens when we are doing an AI integration within RPA? We can now create chatbots, use document understanding, means understand documents, classify emails, create a forms in VDI. We can actually read the unstructured data from the documents or the PDFs or the invoices. We can read unstructured data, which is very difficult from in per se, I would be saying inside AI and also in RPA. Then we can also mine processes which needs to be automated. We can mine tasks that needs to be automated. We can convert the normal speech to text using these type of means using the AI feature from the UiPath. And we can also create chatbots, which can be an interaction for the customer and the end user. Sorry, customer and the employee. So we can allow these all things and a bot can actually respond on those basis. Now moving on to the next slide. Now, why do we actually need AI in automation flow? AI, actually artificial intelligence. The reason why we actually need an artificial intelligence is to allow our bot to predict how the process will be actually moving on. Because there are a lot of processes which cannot be automated because it actually requires human intelligence. But while we try to remove or reduce the human effort, we can actually train the bot in such a way that the automation can be completed from end to end with the bot itself making some predictions and allowing the process to complete and automate. So the reasons why we talk about this is determine the uncertainty, automate high level variable work, automate highly variable work. Then the last thing is process unstructured data. So all these type of use cases, as you can see, property valuation, loan default, inventory forecast, these are the uncertain things. You're never sure how you can actually train them. Highly variable work is resume matching, purchase decision, and language translation. This is something that can be used and means the bot can be actually made sure that it can be trained on these per se. And process unstructured data, something as invoice extraction, email routing, and speech to text. These are the very highly automated processes that can be used using AI and can be automated using that. Now moving on to the next slide is, this is a generic workflow of an AI center. Now inside this, what we need to do is we need to go to the AI center, choose a particular model that can be used for the automation. Then we deploy the same on the AI center, and then load it inside the AI center. After that, what we do is we load the machine learning model inside our UiPath Studio, and we just do and drag and drop of the whole functionality inside our workflow inside the UiPath Studio. And if we see that the prediction of, or we make a point that if it actually exceeded 0.9% of, 90% of the process is being automated and the prediction is very high, the accuracy and the prediction level is very high, then the process can actually complete it on its own. But if the prediction level is low, we can allow a human to interact with the whole process, and we can also allow the human, as per the human input, we can also retrain the whole model, and then this whole thing can be automated on a very high scale. So the machine can actually learn each and every time a human makes a decision, and we can allow that whole thing to be automated in such a way that the whole process can be automated and the process can be reduced within per se that least amount of things can be used from the user for automation. So the whole process has been automated from start to end using these type of scenarios. Now moving on to the next thing. So now we will be talking about the classification use case that we would be showing as a demo for you guys. And inside this, we would be showing how we can use an AI for the classification purpose. So we would be actually using the email classification demo inside in the end of the webinar, and we would be talking about now what is the challenge that actually all the customers face. The customer or the bank, if we talk about, they receive thousands of emails and from the customer, and they're not sure that which email needs to be directed to which team member. So there is a very big type of concern for everyone that they receive 10,000 emails and they're not sure where this needs to be targeted, what is the content of the mail and everything. Now we can allow a bot to actually help you out in these type of scenarios. Now that bot would be actually, what it would be doing is it would be classifying those emails in such a way that only a dedicated team person can related to that domain would be replying to that email. So these type of scenarios is what actually allows the customer and even the bank or the service provider to reduce their cost and increase the accuracy, and they can also improve the customer satisfaction in these type of scenarios. Now, so let's move on to the next slide. So text classification, machine learning model automation, email classification. In these type of scenarios, what we'll be doing is we would be feeding the model multiple types of emails, and we would be classifying those into a different models. So let's assume I have thousands of emails. I'm segregating all those together, and I'm telling the machine in start while I'm training the bot is that this would be going for the fraud, this would be going for the account management, and this would be going for some promotion or marketing things. So the bot actually now understands that if this type of body is coming inside this email, then this is how I would be segregating it in the future. So the model classifies data into different categories with associated confidence. The positive confidence is always 0.94. Anything below that will require some human validation. The input of these models can be a JSON or a CSV file. The customer can save countless of hours and improve customer experience using these type of scenarios on automation. Now moving on to the next slide. The case study, what we would be doing as a demo is that the bank receives what I have actually already told you guys is that the bank receives more than 1 million of emails, and those are actually not structured at all, and they actually try to segregate those type of email using these type of scenarios. So the solution that we actually propose is that we train the bot 400 emails per category, and the bot actually try to understand it using text classification, understand what is the content of the email, and then it tries to segregate accordingly on each and everything. The result that has been received and already been published by UiPath forum is that 95% of the accuracy can be achieved using these type of scenarios, 80% reduction in the whole processing time, the potential to save 50 plus FTEs worth of effort, and improved customer and employees experience is the highest one that needs to be rated on a very high scale. Now let's move towards a demo. before the demo, I would be actually showing you the AI fabric, the AI center that is available in UiPath. So please tell me if the screen is visible to you guys. Okay. This is a UiPath cloud. I'm using one of the cloud version of this, and I'm logging in inside a user. So you might be all, if you have actually logged in inside the UiPath cloud version, you would be seeing these type of scenarios. So this is the AI center that is available for everyone. So all you need to do is just go over there. I have created already a project. So this is the email classification. So as you can see, these are the available skills that is available inside this. So I have trained the data, and this is a data set that has been trained. I'll be showing you not the whole data set, but I'll show you while executing the process, how that has been automated. And this is the data labeling. So inside this, you will be seeing that I can actually train the bot, and I can also train the bot again on the new type of skill sets that is available with me. So the machine learning skills, these are the skills that has been actually available inside my workflow. So the prediction score for the whole thing is 83%. It's quite decent. I can actually improve this out in a later phase, but let's not do it right now. So this is the availability that is possible inside these type of scenarios. Now moving on to the next set is the action center. The action center over here is something where human validation can actually appear or happen on a fly. So what will actually happen is anything that is not being understood by the bot and the confidence level is below 0.9, the bot would be throwing that email out over here, and then it would be showing and allowing the user or the human to validate what that type of email is. Now, what we can do is we can take the user input and then retrain the model back inside the AI center using the retrainable set. So now let's move forward, and I'll show you that the mails are be coming up inside the action center also. So all I need to do is I'll just run the bot. The email classification bot has just been executed, and I have 11 set of emails that are coming in. And if you want to see a few of them, I can actually show you a few. So I have a multiple varieties of emails. I have only saved the body inside in text file. So if you want to create a workflow, you can actually do this using from your side itself. And we can actually understand what needs to be done inside which type of scenarios. Now, as you can see, the bot has stopped actually. The bot is not stopped actually. It has actually thrown in human validation error. So now what the bot is executing is, you need to actually validate what is the email body and how that needs to be done. So how as a user or the human to validate these type of scenarios is, once I'll go and click over here, all I need to do is assign to self, and the ticket would be assigned to my means to me, as in this type of scenarios. The bot has predicted that this is a fraud or a scam. What is the bank name and something like that? That is what the user has actually suggested. So what this type of scenarios, I have 3 types of option, or I have done 3 types of classification. One is account management, fraud or scam, and advertisement and marketing. As per my input, this thing must be an advertisement and market. So once I do a submit, what will actually happen over here is that the bot actually automatically starts from the next point. So now let's assume it has already read 5 to 6 mails. This has means the bot has arrived at some point where it needs a human validation. What will actually happen is the bot will actually pause in the background, and it will allow the user to do some human validation. Now we can actually create a scenario also in these type of automations that the bot doesn't wait for the human validate. Is there anything someone want to ask me, or you want me to continue? Okay. Okay, so one more ticket has actually been assigned to me right now. So all I need to do is assign to myself, and then I would be actually popped up with a message that what this type of scenarios, company failed to honor the promotion and now failed to return any calls to address issue. So the bot has actually understood this as an advertising and marketing. So this is not an advertising and marketing. As per my scenario, this must be a fraud or scam. So all I need to do is submit, and the bot would be actually asking that this type of scenarios, do you want to mark this action as complete? So yes. So once this the user has done the input, the bot will again start at that point, and then it would be actually processing more type of these emails. Now it would be trying to understand again what are the more inputs required, or is it able to actually identify all the other emails or not. In any scenario, if any emails is not being read, it would be actually coming up inside the action center. Now, the workflow that I have created, as I was actually telling earlier,
Shubham, your mic went on mute again.
Is it better now? Means
Yeah,
I'm audible?
perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So again, so these type of scenarios, what is actually happening is the bot actually has thrown another email invalidation. So whenever the percentage on the accuracy of this bot is less than 0.9, I've actually set this on a very high power scale. So if any type of these scenarios actually appear, the bot will actually stop and allow the user to validate. Now, we don't need the bot, or means if we want the whole workflow to be created in such a way that the human validation appears at the very end, we can actually do that. Right now, because the workflow that I have created, the bot is actually pausing right now for each and every email that it is getting stuck at. That's the only reason the whole workflow is getting stuck. But we can actually create a whole workflow in such a way that the bot doesn't stop at all. It will process all the 11 emails that needs to be segregated. And after that, once the human has validated, it would be validating and moving those 3 emails only on those person. So once I've done the assign to myself, all I need to do is again do a fraud, or this is a fraud and scam. Okay. Yeah. So the bot has already suggested this as fraud and scam. I have classified it as a fraud and scam. And once the step has been completed, the bot would be completing the last few emails that has been left. So right now I've only validated 11 emails, but we can actually increase the scope to, and means it depends on the number of emails that has been received. Okay. So I'm just checking whether anything else has been left for validation. Everything has been completed. As you can see, all the 3 emails has been already been populated out over here. Now, this is a classification output that has been received. The bot has actually means I have populated the body, the email name, the body, the class that the bot has classified, and the conference level that the bot has actually received. So as you can see, this is whatever the human has validated, that would be turned in as 1. The bot has actually identified a lot of emails that's more than 9.95%, 99%, and even 1. A lot of them have been actually marked as 1 also. So the bot is, this is how the AI center is working in. So you can actually train a bot in such a way that you can allow a lot of classifications to actually appear in these type of scenarios. So this is the end of the demo. We would be now taking in some questions from your side. So anyone who is having any questions, please be feel free to actually ask them out in the whole thing. I hope I was a bit clear to everyone.
Thanks, Shubham. Audience, if you have any questions or doubts or queries, I mean, this is the time you can ask Shubham.
Yeah, Ankur just said, I am having one question regarding UiPath Center, like this action center.
Okay.
So, like in a particular process, it is having a 3 step, for example. In the second step, we have taken for validation or something in our action center. And our robot is not on the standby. It has just like stopped working on this, provides its handoff to the human, and then started working on any other process. Now, in this scenario, in Action Center, we complete the requirement. In whole these case, what happens in between? For example, about our required variables, values, and all of them. How the robot will now further resume the process
Okay.
from step 2.
Okay, so what actually happened means I didn't catch your name. Sorry, can you please actually repeat that?
Ankur.
Ankur. Okay, hi Ankur. First of all, it's a good question actually. What you was actually asking. So what actually happens is, let's assume the second step, the bot actually stops processing,
Right.
or it needs a human validation. The ticket would be actually raised inside the action center. Once the human has validated those outputs, let's assume that the human takes 1 day to validate that output. Okay. So in this type of scenario, the bot doesn't mean stops or pause at that in the background. You can actually execute any of the processes means simultaneously inside the background once the bot, because the bot is actually free. It has not been utilized at this point. Once the user has actually validated the input from his side inside the action center, the bot will actually understand what is the input or the output. So right now, what is actually happening? So as I open the action center, the classes over here, where I'm validating from the user side.
Right.
this input, this is considered as an input for the output, means this is the output from the action center.
Yes.
And this is considered as an input to the robot. It understands that the user has told me that this is an advertisement and marketing. So this email has been now considered as advertisement and marketing for the bot now. So this is a second step for him. So we can actually allow, now let's assume I put 1 + 1 and we need a human validation for this. So once the user has inputted 2 over there, that would be considered as an input point for the robot now, for the third step.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's like we have divided our process into some parts.
Right. So you don't need to actually run the bot manually now. Once the user is validated, the bot will actually resume from that third step itself.
Yes, all of these things are automated now via Action Center, and
Yes.
practically we have divided it into multiple parts, right?
That's right. That's
Okay, got it. And
So-
one more, like as we have this AI Center, so is this free with the regular license, or we are having a different license for this?
So this is not a regular license. So if you are actually using the 20.2 version over there, you would be actually getting this type of scenarios. You can use the Action Center over there.
Okay.
And if you want to use the Action Center, you must have an unattended license only, because it is not attended right now, because you want this whole process that I was executing. It was happening in the background and it was running in an unattended mode.
Unattended.
Because if the user is if you're doing an automation in attended mode, you can actually do a pop-up message for him, right?
Right.
So to avoid that type of scenarios where you don't want the user to actually go in that system, you can actually use the Action Center in these type of scenarios.
Okay.
I hope I questioned your answer.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from anyone?
Okay. So Shubham, I believe there are no more queries. So I think we should. I think it's time. If nobody has a query, we can go ahead and finish this webinar. And for the audience, what I'll do is I'll share Shubham's LinkedIn profile in the comments. I'll also share his. He's already, shared his email ID and phone number on the screen. I'll be sharing his LinkedIn profile, in the comments. And if there are any queries, which you think you have, or you want to follow him on LinkedIn or Twitter, you can do that, and you can contact him on these two platforms anytime. He'll be more than eager to discuss technology and especially RPA anytime with all of you. So thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. We'll keep doing more such webinars in future, and you can keep an eye on our social media, or you can subscribe to our emails. I think most of you must have come through our emails. Thank you, Prabhakaran. Thank you so much. And you can subscribe to our emails. You can subscribe to our social media to keep a check on the new webinars which are coming up. And of course, on our website zebra.com, there is a specific page dedicated to all the webinars that we have scheduled for future. You can join those webinars too. Thank you so much for joining this webinar, and thanks, Ankur, and wish you a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.